They have been the pillars of underwriting funding efforts for civil legal aid for the poor. I have been a pretty militant voice about the Goldmark Awards going each year to a person in the trenches. But this time, I feel so strongly that the hidden work to build a durable infrastructure has to be revealed. People have to understand what a heavy lift this has been and will continue to be. I'm interested in knowing, from a personal perspective, why you got motivated to dive in and get involved in this work.
Well, it probably goes back to the fact that I was once very poor myself. I was clutched from the jaws of poverty, if you will, at age 15. And when I asked those who helped me to survive what I could do to pay them back, they consistently said, try to do the same for someone else. And we started from nothing. You and I went out and raised the seed money, which was actually quite easy, because the business community understands this issue. And we launched Law Fund, and then it was about 10 years later, I think, that we came up with the idea for the endowment.
It really started because you were facing a terrible retrenchment. How would you fund this thing? And we started talking about an endowment of funds that we would put away, build up, and then we would have even funding.
So the Campaign for Equal Justice, or the Law Fund effort, is for today. The endowment is for tomorrow. And having both of those programs, those initiatives going is, I think, critical.
The new study of legal need is just frightening to all of us, that we're just not getting the job done. And so it's the tension of providing the yearly help we need versus somehow getting to a point where that tension won't exist because we'll have this money that we can provide for an even funding of what you're doing. And that's a tension that's going to exist until we get to that point.
I know this, that doing justice, accomplishing something, is the best feeling in the world. And I cannot tell you, well, you know it, how good that feels. And, you know, that's the reward in many ways.
It's its own reward.
It's its own reward. One of the things that occurs to me is every lawyer would be very nice if he or she said, I'm going to give, you know, if they're young, they're not making a lot of money, I'm going to give $100, $200 a year, $500 a year. Put it in my will for a small amount. And having it in the will is less painful sometimes too. And then as you continue to do well, you know, just raise the amount of money. Have that be part of your life.
The endowment funds that we're giving out now, and since we reached 15 million, we're giving out $500,000 a year. That's all unrestricted money, and it's going to those programs and plans that desperately need it.
If we can supplement the public funding with private funding without those restrictions, it's critical. Poor people are extremely vulnerable. That's why it's so important to me that we ensure some, and far more than we have now, access to our civil legal justice system. We have no public defender program for poor people on the civil side.
I started because I believe it's part of your professional responsibility. If you're in for the law just for making a buck, you're going to miss half of what this whole thing's about. And to get that other half, you've got to be involved in the profession. And you've got to be involved in something that you believe in your heart is the most important thing.
I think that we have a long way to go where we are today. We've made a start, but it's not time for self-congratulation. We have a long way to go.
The idea of justice is there. We don't have the reality. And there are a lot of us who work for it, and we can't stop working for it because it's always going to be there. Our job is to cast light on that shadow that stands between the idea and the reality, and make the light real.